What is freaking up? We have a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We've got a bunch of topics. Obviously, some of the stuff is stuff I've already covered on my channel, but we're going to go a little more in depth here. You guys know who Idubbbz is, right? Everyone in chat knows who Idubbbz is. Literally everyone. We all watched Idubbbz, I assume. How could you not know who Idubbbz is if you watch me, right? I'm like downstream of Idubbbz. I assume like 70% of chat watched Idubbbz back in the day. That's my guess. If I had to bet, I'd say 70-80% at least. If not like up to 90. Well, I was a big fan of Idubbbz back in the day. And, you know, he had his OnlyFans controversy and he got shit on for that. And, you know, some of that's justified, some of it's not. I basically have been, you know, relatively supportive of him even since that drama. Well, you guys all know who Idubbbz is. I was a big Idubbbz fan. And basically, he kind of went on this downward spiral. A lot of people thought he wasn't the same. He stopped making the series that were kind of the peak of his content, which was like content cop bad unboxing. Ever since then, his channel has felt pretty channels felt pretty directionless rather, not relentless. There's no clear like theme to it. He just kind of uploads like once every few months, like a bullshit video about kind of nothing. Vaccine incentives, you know, Logan Paul video. He does a few big videos here and there, like he did the Sam Hyde documentary. He did his Airsoft Fatty documentary. This is the video that people gave him a lot of shit for. Sex workers, Idubbbz complains. A lot of people now in the comment section are trashing him full out. Back when this came out, there was kind of a divide in the community. There was like Critical, who I think was like, people really shouldn't care about, you know, his OnlyFans girlfriend. The fact that you think he's your parasocial dad is just pathetic, you know? And then on the other hand, you have people like Diesel Patches who were like, so basically Idubbbz decided to do something really gay and cringe, and like turns out he has an OnlyFans girlfriend, and like honestly I think he should break up with her, because if he doesn't, then it's gonna ruin his life, and frankly like he's kind of a hypocrite. So those were the kind of two sides of it, right? Critical and Diesel Patches. I fell somewhere in the middle. As always, I'm the fence sitter, I'm the fence rider. I made a video about this. It was one of the videos I think I came back with actually after a big drama. This video, why Idubbbz's audience turned on him, and I'll kind of play the conclusion that I had at the end of it, just so you guys can see where my head was at. March 7th, 2021. So 2 years ago.
Once people realized there was one moral disagreement they had with him, they tried to throw other things at the wall and see what would stick. Idubbbz's audience didn't turn on him because he was wrong or a hypocrite. They turned because he wasn't cool. I've been Turkey Tom. Thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
So that's how I felt at the time. This video now is a bit, you know, a bit dated. I'd say my opinion has changed quite a bit because a lot has happened. But at the time, I was working with the information I had, you know. Now looking back, I think that at the time that was true, but now there's a lot more reasons to not like Idubbbz. I mean, there's so many reasons, right? Whether it be the way that he went about the Sam Hyde documentary, whether it be how he views his old fans, whether it be his treatment of Froggy Fresh, most recently, obviously. There's a lot of reasons to not like Idubbbz, and I think that this whole creator clash thing has really illuminated a lot of people to just how sensitive he and Anissa truly are. And it was a narrative for a while that I was kind of avoiding talking about because I find it kind of cringe to act as if his girlfriend is representative of like him, and like, you know, he has his own free agency, so I don't want to make it about that. But let's be honest, they're a team, okay? They're tied together. He's not making any decisions without her. She's wearing the pants in that relationship. And unfortunately, that's shining through more than ever now in a really bad way. And we're going to look at this. We're going to analyze how this happened. Obviously, I've made a few videos about it, but today I'll go more in depth with my take and stuff. We'll go over all the material. I've gathered the most important things here and there. And it should be a pretty good video. I actually will be at Creator Clash, though. So if you guys are there, I'll see you there. Yeah, I'll be at Creator Clash. I'll be witnessing it. I've heard some rumblings that some interesting characters will be in attendance. I'm not going to, you know, announce who that will be, who that may or may not be, but my suspicion is that there could be some hassling going on at Creator Clash. You guys may have seen this tweet from Critical. This kind of shows to me how mainstream this drama has become. I'm really disappointed by this. Kicking him for Twitter controversy after months of training is brutal. I don't think any jokes he made were intended to be mean-spirited or shit on anyone. Hopefully they reconsider this decision. This tweet kind of sums up, I think, the general public's feeling on the whole controversy. If you haven't seen, you know, everything going down, this kind of generalizes how most people feel. People who aren't even fans of Sam Hyde, people who don't really care about Idubbbz and this or that, right? This is how the general public seems to feel. So let's meet the players. Let's meet the players in this drama. Here's the card for Creator Clash. We can see Dad or Nathan Barnett, who will be involved in this drama. You can see Starkilla, who's a part of the H3 podcast. You can see Fitz is here. Idubbbz Did a Thing, Aaron Hansen, Jarvis Johnson. It's an interesting card. Oh, there they are. There we go. Froggy Fresh and Chris Raygun. They're the midget imp class, as Anis's mom would say, because they're both very short. They're like 5'2". They'll be fighting. And Froggy Fresh, for these guys who don't know, he's like a YouTube rapper. A lot of people say they're like a big fan of him and like they watched his stuff back in the day. I never, to be honest with you, was a huge fan of Froggy Fresh, so I can't front in that way. I've never been a big Froggy Fresh fan. The music itself is not really my thing, but you know, you can tell he's talented if you watch the videos, right? But a lot of people say he's like, they're kind of, you know, he's someone they remember from back in the day on YouTube. For me personally, he's not. I just was never into this stuff. But he made like comedic rap songs, basically.
Out on the court for a game of 2-on-2. Me and Mike versus James and his boy Big Blue. We headed off to Kevin's house right after school, cause he got that new Lifetime basketball hoop. We came ready to play. We came ready to win and bring the trophy home that day. Big Blue said, you ain't bringing home that W. How you gonna score when I'm standing here in front of you? I grabbed the ball and I passed it into Mike. Mike caught the pass, fake left and went right.
So it's not really my thing, but you know, if you enjoy it, I mean, I get it. He got signed to the card by Ian, by Anissa. And then we have who he's fighting, who's someone you guys also may remember. Chris Raygun may be a little more, he's definitely more niche, but he also may be a little more niche in the way that like you had to be watching like political YouTube around the time, because he was like an anti-SJW YouTuber back in the day. That was like his whole thing. He kind of came up with like Sargon of Akkad and Shoe One Head, people like that kind of genre of people. Mundane Matt, like right after Gamergate kind of stuff, during Gamergate, until like 2017, 18, and then a lot of them kind of moved on or stopped posting. Chris Raygun doesn't really post a lot today. But here's an old video, one of the more popular videos on Chris Raygun's channel. Funnily, if you can see Shoe on Head as a pinned comment. This was like the anti-feminist content. This video is titled Tips and Tricks for Toxic Males Actually Real.
I love nothing more than posting completely innocuous statements on Twitter. It's my favorite thing. I feel gross.
That was easy.
Hey, oh, Now I know what you guys are probably saying. You're probably saying, Chris, why do you look so disheveled and broken? Why are you a broken human? Guys, I've been locked away in Twitter jail for the past 7 days, and let me tell you, that's not somewhere you want to be. Guys, you don't even want to know the kind of horrendous shit I found lurking in Jack's basement.
Now look, these days there seems to be an anti-Chris Raygun sentiment. I'm gonna come out and say I like Chris Raygun. I mean, I don't know him, but I like his videos. I think they're still good. Even, looking back, this is a 5-year-old video. This holds up better than most 5-year-old videos,
I don't even know what that means. Now, of course, the first response to catch my eye was one by Shoe on Head, in which she linked me to one of the most fascinating Twitter threads I think I've ever seen. If you're a man unsure of what to do to support women right now in your daily life, beyond like not sexually harassing us, here's some starting points.
It's very dated in the topic. I think it's fine. I think his content's fine. I think he's funny. He does lose points for being 5'2", but I think he seems fine. I've never had a bad interaction with him that I can remember anyway. Maybe I haven't. I just don't remember it. But as far as I know, there's no beef, there's no drama, and I think his stuff is pretty good. And the last interaction that, obviously you guys know who Sam Hyde is. I don't need to explain that. But the last interaction Ian had with Sam Hyde, publicly anyway, really, was this. Where basically he did a whole documentary on him, and then he didn't release it. And as a result, Sam decided to release his own cut, and that kind of forced Ian's hand of releasing this one. This is the part we're going to see. This is the last bit, the outro, so to speak.
I think once Sam had revealed all the gaslighting stuff to me, he figured there wasn't really much of a reason to continue to cooperate because he had provided his entertainment, so why continue?
Whoa. There was like, I swear to God.
A lot of the most insightful stuff that we got was with Sam's crew after they had let their walls down. They all spoke very candidly with us. And it would have been nice if Sam gave us a similar level of respect.
We were like, what's the thing we could do to like make the funniest thing?
This idea of confusing people and never being genuine or only being genuine when you think it's obvious is a great game to play when the most important thing to you is never showing your taint to people. You can feel like a winner in a game that only you are playing.
I would punch Trump. Oh my God, I would love to punch Trump. Can you imagine that? You hate immigrants? Boom!
I would have been more stoked with the prank if he had allowed us to take a candid look at his life afterwards, but he shut us out. I don't know what his day-to-day life is really like. I don't know even surface level details about how he does things or, you know, if he's even in a relationship. It would be interesting to know, but we just don't know. As far as who is Sam and what is he about, it seems like he really likes comedy, even if that means being an asshole to people and not letting his wall down. I don't think that serves to benefit him in any way, but if that's a game that he wants to play, fair enough. All I can continue to do is read between the lines and assume that there's some truth in there somewhere.
Mr. Hyde, I'd like to know what message is it you'd like us to take away from that exactly?
I don't know, man. I guess that's up to you. I don't know. It's nothing. It's just a bunch of crap.
So coming away from this documentary, a lot of people felt like, you know, Ian had kind of become what he hated, right? They think he kind of became the cuck. And when this came out, I defended him, obviously, you know, because I thought that, you know, despite what you can say about his intentions, I thought that the documentary was pretty well done. I think looking back, his intent was definitely to kind of punk Sam, to expose him somewhat. You know, regardless of that, I think that Ian did a decent job of the documentary. I think it was well edited by, who's the guy who edited it? Uncle Dane, I think he edited it. He did a good job. Is that his name? I need to make sure. Yeah, it was Uncle Dane. He did a good job. He's like a TF2 guy. He did a good job editing it. I think that the filming was interesting. I think that the whole saga was like one of the more interesting things from that year of content. And for that, I have to thank Ian. And even beyond that, there were people who were mad about him bringing up the old alt-right associations with Sam. I think that if you're mad about that, you have to come to terms with the fact that that's a part of the Sam story. You know, the 2016, 2015 Richard Spencer kind of stuff. You just have to acknowledge that stuff did happen. Whether or not you think, you know, Sam was fully on board with the more extreme parts of that ideology, or you think that he's changed or something, I think you can't tell the Sam Hyde story without talking about the politics that were going on, because ultimately the politics is what got the show canceled, in my opinion, unjustifiably. But you can't not mention the alt-right when you tell the totality of his story. All right, well, obviously there was some tension between Ian and Sam, because Sam felt like Ian came out there to try to punk him, and he explained that to his audience, and, you know, as a result, his audience felt that Ian had kind of become like a weak soy cuck. And I don't mean that to like degrade the insult or degrade Sam Hyde or something. I just mean like that's the general insult. But the real sentiment is that Idubbbz is a sellout. He used to do edgy stuff. Now he's trying to pull the ladder so other people can't be successful. He's shitting on one of his idols. He's trying to punk him. He's trying to, you know, expose he thinks he's fallen off, so he wants to go out there and fool him. But Sam is smart enough that he managed to flip it around on him, right? iCucks removed 52 million worth of views. Check Social Blade. Looks like he did. He removed 52 million views of videos. Huh. What do you think he took down? He probably took down the vids of him saying the N-word. Yeah, probably. If I had to guess. Content caught Monjo. That one's still up, so I don't think that's it, because he definitely said it in that video. That was the documentary conclusion, and since then there's been clips of them like back and forth exchanging a little bit, you know. There was a funny video where Ian like called Sam and he just talked to him for a little bit. They've interacted a little bit on stream, like not directly, but like Anissa or Idubbbz will talk about Sam will talk about Anissa. We've got this is a channel I watch quite a bit called The New Pill that posts some pretty good clip compilations. This is a video of her talking about the the documentary stuff regarding Sam Hyde.
I was terrified. I was like super uncomfortable. I have been around people like Sam before I was on the internet, and they are very unpredictable people, and I don't like unpredictable people. I remember it was like day 1, day 2, and then I think on 3 it was when it was revealed.
Have you tried to get her any help?
No, seeing as she's a girl I paid $500 to shave her head and pretend to be my girlfriend, no, I haven't tried to get her any help. Are you serious? You think I would date a girl that has her hair shaved like that?
Yes.
You think I'm a mental case?
Yes.
Fart noise. But okay. So we know the players. We met the players. We met the people involved. Ladies and gentlemen, now I think we have to get to the actual drama at hand. You all know what happened. Froggy Fresh, YouTube rapper, decided to go and do a little training with Sam Hyde. A lot of YouTubers kind of look up to this guy, and so I think the Froggy Fresh was obviously one of those people. He's called Sam Hyde the greatest comedian of all time, and here we can see him fighting a little bit. Him fighting with Sam is pretty funny because he's short and Sam is like huge. So seeing them in the same room, it's funny. But to Froggy Fresh's credit, and I'm not trying to shit on him or whatever for his height. It's whatever. I'm not trying to insult him. To his credit, I mean, he's going out here. He's training hard. He's already been training for, I think at this point, prior to him being kicked from the card, I think he trained for 8 months or so. So he was definitely trying his best, he was putting in a lot of work. They gave him some money for training, but he put forward some of his own as well. And after this happened, apparently Froggy Fresh made someone mad, and it may not be who you expect. At this point, the story has like kind of gone out so far that it's not really, I feel like Anissa's mom is kind of out of the picture now of the story. It's become much greater, but she's definitely an integral player, and we should talk about that. So we started getting some tweets from this account. This account is called the Pied Piper at @the_tin whistle, and they start insulting Froggy Fresh. They say, hope it's about replacing the imp, while replying to Anissa the Greasy. This account also said he wouldn't have the fight if not for her. That's why numbnuts. And this account seems very mad at Froggy Fresh. They're clearly supportive of Anissa the Greasy. That's where we're at. And for those who don't know, Anissa's mom has actually been talked about before in regards to her, if you know the Anissa drama. On Kiwi Farms, on the thread about Anissa drama, they often talk about different sock accounts that they suspect are Anissa's mom. And this was one of them that they were talking about as far as like a year ago. When I checked the thread, I saw that. And so there's already plenty of circumstantial evidence to show that it's her mom. Apart from the fact that the account deleted itself and never said a single word, never denied being his mom. Apart from the fact that Ian and Anissa have never said it's not her mom. Apart from these things, we even have a Kotaku article from years ago. This is from, when is this from? July 28th, 2016. And this is titled, The Mom Who Moderates Her Daughter's Rowdy Twitch Chat. And here we have, I assume this is an illustration of Anissa. And this article basically talks about how her mom is like her most fervent supporter and is her biggest Twitch simp, constantly moderating chat and like arguing with trolls or whatever. Anissa Jamha was a so-called booby streamer until last March. Her sizable Twitch following includes ardent fans, horny dudes, toxic trolls, and an unusual chat moderator, her mother. On Twitch, Jamha, known online as Rainbow Kids, streams League of Legends for her over 200,000 followers, many of whom originally subscribed for something other than her gameplay. Here we have a quote that says, "No boobos show, no me watching." Someone else said, "Cam whore." And someone else said, "Where are your nipples?" In fact, a counter on Rainbow Kids' channel estimates that her breasts have been mentioned in Twitch chat nearly 30,000 times. Until recently, Rainbow Kids wore a double push-up bra, highlighting her cleavage for her audience. Viewers would pay real money to have their commentary of her read out loud, much of which was deliberately offensive. Criticisms of her body or gameplay were bolstered by targeted personal attacks meant to get a rise out of her. Variations on the word slut were a common refrain in Rainbow Kids' Twitch chat, which one day included her mother. At first, I was surprised, Maureen Jama, 52, remembered when I spoke with her on Skype earlier this week. She was what you'd call a booby streamer, where you'd attract viewers to your stream, trolls, who come to harass or hit on female streamers, she said. Growing up, Rainbow Kids was one of the more troublesome of her siblings. Oh wait, I missed this. Sorry. At first, I was surprised, Maureen Jama, 52, remembered when I spoke with her on Skype earlier this week. She was what you'd call a booby streamer. Imagine your own mom calling yourself a booby streamer, bro. Imagine being like a girl with like your tits out on bouncing and your mom is watching, calling you a booby streamer. Jama is now one of her daughter's most dedicated Twitch moderators, tasked with keeping Rainbow Kids' chat in line so it continues to abide by Twitch's terms of service. And even after consistently witnessing complete strangers sling some of the most shocking and offensive language possible against their daughter, she's also one of Rainbow Kids' most lenient mods, enforcing the streamer's come at me approach to trolls. Here we can see an old screenshot of her stream, I guess. And apparently at first she didn't know it was her mom, but later on her mom revealed it to her that it was indeed her moderating her chat. So this like 50-something-year-old woman, instead of like working her job or something, is spending her time moderating her daughter's chat where she shows her cleavage. Really awesome. Really cool, man. Imagine being a mom reading this article because it's supposed to be about yourself and the opening paragraph is about your daughter's tits. True. And this is from Kotaku, is because they're like one of the more progressive outlets that's always saying like misogyny this, that. So there's a lot of circumstantial evidence to say it's her mom. I don't doubt it's her mom. But anyway, after this was noticed by Froggy Fresh, he quote tweeted it. He said, "Maureen Idubbbz hit me up to beat up your daughter's boyfriend, lol." And then, "Better an imp than a pimp. Shout out your boy Idubbbz. Anissa, come get your mom." And here Froggy Fresh is clearly making a joke about Chris Ray-Gun as well, saying Idubbbz hit me up to beat up your daughter's boyfriend. So he is kind of, shocking the relationship a little bit there. In fairness, he's going a little bit over the line. And so in that way, it's like, I think that him being kicked is dumb. I think they shouldn't be this sensitive, but at the same time, you know, he was definitely going a little over the line. Now, he would later on reveal that he thinks that the reason he went sicko mode is because he already knew he was being kicked. He had gotten the call, and so he was like, I'm just gonna talk shit about them real quick. So Froggy Fresh saw these posts from Maureen Jama, who I guess now is like 56 years old, still doing this shit on Twitter. He decided to make a few video responses. Here's one of them.
I got even more news for you. Something I didn't even say about last night. Anissa's mom also made another tweet at me. She tweeted, classic case of brain damage. Better have that looked at along with your obviously shrunken balls. First off, when I did hit my head on them monkey bars, yeah, I did get hurt a little bit. But when I got the scan done, they said I was still smart. Second off, as far as with that second thing that you said about my privates, you have got to clean up your language. That is not good to be talking like.
You got to clean up your language, Maureen Jama. So, Froggy Fresh responded, and shortly after, we found out that there would be a change in the lineup. The official Creator Clash Twitter account tweeted out, there's been a change in the lineup, and Froggy Fresh will no longer be fighting against Chris Reagan. We will announce his replacement in the coming days. With just 3 weeks left, the countdown to Creator Clash has begun. So, in the same breath, they're like announcing that they're kicking one of their fighters. They're like, oh, but guys, be excited because it's still happening. And following this, everybody on Twitter, once they see this, you know, Nick Diorio, Augie RFC, Bo Blacks, a million other like decent size accounts, right, who are not within my like corner of the internet, people who are so much bigger than me are tweeting about it. There's a Twitter space that night about it. Keemstar, he starts tweeting out free Froggy Fresh, and he's getting like the most interaction he's had in, you know, a little while on Twitter. We stand with Froggy. Everyone knows Ian ducked for other reasons. I insist that Idubbbz be removed from Creator Clash after seeing this photo of him training with Sam Hyde. Sad the event is cucked. Sad. There's a lot of people basically talking about it. Jadeon, who apparently is a longtime fan of Froggy Fresh, and you guys may remember for his drama with Pokimane, he said that he would donate $100,000 to Creator Clash if Froggy Fresh was put back on the card. And here you can see Keem was tweeting out a link to the Twitter space that was going on at the time. I was in that Twitter space listening, and it was pretty wild what was going on. It was basically every YouTuber under the sun was in this call talking about it, listening to it. And that was just the first Twitter space, because the next night it was even more insane. Philip DeFranco was in listening. Dr. Mike was in. Code Miko. So many like big YouTubers and like mainstream celebrities were like tuning into this drama to like, you know, check in on it and see what's up. And following this, Sam Hyde obviously caught wind of it because he was helping train Froggy Fresh. And he went in, ladies and gentlemen. He went in. First of all, he was already kind of trying to get attention again because he was saying that he would help train Moist Critical to fight Sneeko, which got 10,000 likes. Obviously, Critical didn't acknowledge it, you know. I don't necessarily blame him. I think Sam is somewhat of a controversial figure, and for that reason, I mean, you know, Charlie's literally like the top of YouTube. For him to acknowledge that, talk about Sam Hyde in any way, like, I wouldn't blame him for avoiding it because he's at such a high position, you know what I mean? And the thing about this is that this kind of happened at the perfect time because recently an interview happened with Idubbbz where he basically talked about how he doesn't like his fans anymore. I also covered this in a video. If you go to Tom Dark, I made a video titled, I think it was titled Idubbbz Hates His Old Fans. Yeah, here we go. Idubbbz Hates His Old Fans 9 days ago. So that happened. People were already kind of shitting on Idubbbz. They were ready to, you know, reignite that kind of hate train. And then clips from this interview were circulating of him talking about how he hates his old fans. He had interactions with them. He was like, they were just not good people. They're basement dwellers. They're cringy. They're saying gamer words in public. Here's the video.
Interactions that I had with fans. There were quite a few human beings that I interacted with that just sucked because I attracted a lot of people who sucked. Some people were very much like antisocial, weird, basement dwellers. You know, the one time a month that they come out of their cave and they run into me, their favorite YouTuber.
What would they say? What would they do?
Things that I am certainly not going to repeat. I'm talking bad words.
Words that we only say by describing the first letter?
Yeah, exactly. Boy, man, what a powerful way of putting it.
So he does this interview. People are like, well, what the f***? Like, obviously the reason you had those fans is because you made content in the first place where you were calling people NFs or whatever, right? And then here you are, like, talking about, like, oh, in retrospect, you know, I think I realized the kind of audience I was attracting. And at the time, Sam was also beefing with Hassan again. Hassan had talked about it a little on stream. And here we have Sam Hyde quote tweeting him say, "Oh, brother, stop being hysterical." At Hassan the Hun. "I just want to change the way you look. I want to experiment on you and make you uglier. I want to get you in a shipping container, and maybe I'll have some bolts in your neck like Frankenstein when I'm done. Relax." You can see Hassan is such a baby, too, like, complaining about, like, a subreddit talking about him. Like, dude, you're a public public figure, you're gonna get some level of hate. You know what I mean? When people are like uncharitably acknowledging like on me on Twitter, I just block them. That's all you have to do, dude. Let's say it was unjustified to say this about Hassan and like talk about the Sam Hyde stuff. Let's say it was totally unjustified. You just ignore them or block them. Like when somebody is like propagating a lie about me on Twitter, I block them and I move on with my day for the most part. And that's all you have to do. Guts on the mic for 5 says you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Very true. But I guess LSF bothers him a lot. He's a very sensitive guy. And then Sam heard that Froggy was getting kicked. He says, can you believe this? Obviously, the entire time he's tweeting about it, he's typing in like his weird, like half ironic way, because that's just how he is. When Sam gets involved, a bunch of other people see it and they get involved as well. They start commenting on it. Big name YouTubers. Obviously, I was there and I'm a big name YouTuber. But Emp Lemon was there. He says, Ian has turned into such an unimaginable prude. This is so pathetic and petty and sad. How about just cut to the chase and ban anyone who has ever breathed the same air molecules as Sam Hyde? Why don't you? This is so lame, I might just bail on the event entirely. And if you go to Emplemon's second channel, he also made a very, very critical video talking about Idubbbz. Here we go.
Welcome back, everyone, to another Downward Night.
Great channel, by the way.
That's right.
If you guys
I've been
like his
forced
content.
to break out for the first
Subscribe.
time on this channel the nocturnal recording, the nocturnal presentation of the Downward Diary. And boy, do we have some downward news to cover today. Now, normally I don't tend to record at this time of day, but this news that just came out a couple hours ago at the time of me recording this has got me riled up. It has lit a fire underneath because this is a topic I covered briefly last year, if any of you followed the whole DNN project, fortunately on the shelf for now. But this video today is about Idubbbz removing Froggy Fresh from the Creator Clash 2 card. An incident that has everyone baffled and confused and upset right now.
Very true. Very true, Employment. Baffled, confused, and upset. Then following this, they all start blocking Sam Hyde on Twitter. Anissa blocks him. Idubbbz blocks him. Hassan blocks him. He says, I own you, bitches. Froggy Fresh, meanwhile, even though he's been kicked, he's saying he's very thankful. He says, at Sam Hyde, his people, those who he brought into work with me alongside with Carlos Rangel at Square Circle Boxing Academy, have treated me with great kindness, respect, and have taught me so much along the way. Jet Neptune says, much love to you too, bro. Froggy Fresh says, you too, my man. Appreciate you all. So, a lot of people are, very supportive of him. Sam Hyde's camp is very nice. They're very kind. Full disclosure, I have some bias. Sam's, I don't know what you call them, employees. They've been very nice to me as well, like Jet Neptune. B9 Tumor, Bick was nice to me. People like that, they've been kind to me when I've interacted with them. I am somewhat partial to this, right? But regardless, I think that anyone from looking at this from the outside would be like, this is a up situation, it's ridiculous. Keemstar obviously had his take. He said, this woman blocked me even though I supported her boxing event 2 years in a row, worked with her behind the scenes with advice, helped her back up fighters, had my brand Happy Punch promo push Creator Clash. I was blocked for simply covering the news without even injecting my own opinion on Froggy Fresh getting kicked. And we can see here this picture of Anissa. Bit of a rough look, not gonna lie, not my thing. And then in the midst of all of this, of course, the great sign that Idubbbz has been pushed from the decision-making process is that he wasn't even trending. More evidence that Homegirl is running his life thoroughly. Ian isn't even in the conversation anymore. He's watching all this happen from the hotel chair. You see Sam Hyde and Anissa are both trending. Idubbbz, Ian, nowhere to be found, buddy. And then, you guys know who Dad is? I don't exactly know who this dude is. Dad Nathan Barnett. I don't know anything about this dude. He has a bunch of subscribers. Gravedigger from New England and LA. I guess he's from like where I live or something. But I don't know anything about him other than I know he fought in the last Creator Clash. I think he's been in a few like AVGN videos. But I've never really watched his content. Oh, he did prank stuff, I guess, a while ago.
Trash can.
Dressing up like Trevor. Is he cool? I have no beef with him. I don't know his deal, but a lot of people are mad at him because Sam ended up challenging him to a fight. He said, I will literally fight anyone if we can make the same weight. I'll put up 100 grand to fight you if you gain 30 pounds. I'll drop 70, fight at 200, but the guy blocked him. Sam then said, if I lose 70 pounds, I'll be totally weakened and skeletal, probably unable to tie my own shoes without cracking in half. I know he's not going to step up and be a true hero, so I'll just throw this in there. If Dad beats me, I'll delete all my socials and never make any public statements. Unsurprisingly, trash content creator Dad Nathan Barnett has declined my offer of me dropping 70 pounds and 100K. So let's up the ante. I'll do 250K cash and the GT3 RS I own outright. That's 500K for charity, Funkos, whatever you want. So he's putting a lot on the line here. Obviously, I think he knew that Dad would never fight this dude. If I was Dad, I wouldn't fight this dude. But Nathan Barnett actually ended up deleting his Twitter entirely. This account doesn't exist. I wonder if it's back now that this stuff has kind of calmed down. Siggy, thanks for coming. A tomboy. Biggest blender for two says he's very soy Thomas. He also wears diapers. Oh, it looks like he's back. Dad feels. Looks like that was not back. This account is up. But he deleted all his tweets. He's not been saying anything. No replies. Hasn't liked anything since 2015. I guess he just dipped. He didn't want to deal with any of this shit. But here we have Sam talking about Nathan Barnett.
These people, in all seriousness, these guys like Dad, whose swag is unforgivable.
Geriatric.
It's not geriatric, brother. It's fucking theater kid unhinged with a $0 budget. Theater kid gone wild with no money.
Gone wrong.
This guy is the definition of the phrase "gone wrong."
And following this in a Twitter space, Sam would make some jokes saying that Dad was he would jokingly call him a racist, basically. You know, maybe that was a little far. I think even he would probably say that was a little far. He was just pushing the line a little there because there's no reason to think Dad would do anything like that. But obviously he was joking. Well, people were trying to get Dad to fight him, trying to get Dad to fight Sam. He wouldn't do it. Eventually, in his Discord server, some messages ended up being screenshotted where people were saying, Sam just put up 100K to fight you at 200 pounds and says if you win, he'll delete his socials and never make content again. Nathan says who? As if he doesn't know. This is like that, you know that video where FouseyTube is like, who? Oh, this is it.
Way to go, Beefy.
Who?
Beefy.
Who?
Beefy.
Who?
Beefy is here.
Who?
Where'd you get his at, bro?
Huh? Who? I'm really who?
Who? What are you, f***ing now?
100K and put an end to his terror sounds like a good deal, and you get to beat him up. This person says not interested. Nathan says that. Why? Not interested in being involved with a person like that, even for 100K to charity or wherever you want to spend it. Nah, I have stuff I'm doing, making a movie later this year, not doing YouTube stuff and being involved with negative people. If I box again, it'll be with someone I respect and am friends with. So I guess he has no interest in really being involved in the Sam Hyde fight. He doesn't want to touch that kind of stuff. Well, I don't know what Casey Tron's deal is, but she tweeted out saying this. Sam Hyde is an alt-right Nazi, and I'm glad he wasn't allowed on the stage. Why don't they just donate the charity money regardless? Oh, because it's not about charity. It's about their egos and putting a price and having the right to degrade women / be a Nazi. The garbage of the internet still commenting on this post, crying about how nobody likes them or wants them around. Literal incel basement dweller neckbeards filling out my notifications with their f***ing stupidity. The incels think I'm an ugly fat woman who should make them a sandwich. Oh no, what will I do? Imagine being an ugly fucking piece of loser living in your mother's basement, terminally online, never had a girlfriend, thinking women online care that you think they're ugly. I don't really know a lot about Casey Tron, to be honest with you. I just don't. She just seems kind of cringe to me. People always say the easy way to get viewers is be a hot woman. No, the easy way to get viewers is to be a brain-dead, hateful man who hates women and LGBTQ plus people. She just seems like she's a very internet police type person. Like every tweet is being really mad about someone being mean to women or something. Who fucking cares, bro? Another day where the voice is exclaiming there's a giant trans mob. Yeah, I don't know a lot about Casey Tron, to be honest with you. I know she smokes weed a lot. Come get high with me right now. No comment on that one. No comment, ladies and gentlemen. But so a lot of people were chiming in on this kind of thing. Here we have Bo Black's take, which is weird to see. It's weird to see Bo Black's talking about Sam Hyde because he's someone who only found out about him recently. So it's weird to see this as someone who's been watching Sam's stuff for 5, 6, 7 years. I'm not one of the OG 2014 MDE heads, but around 15, 16, 17 is when I started watching him. So to see this now, to see people talking about Sam Hyde is very, I don't know. It hits me in a very weird way to see him interacting with Keemstar. Because I was watching Keemstar before I was watching Sam Hyde, I think. Baited podcasts and stuff. And so now to see Sam Hyde in the same Twitter space as Keemstar talking about YouTube drama. Really weird to see that. But it's very strange for me to witness this intersection of Sam Hyde and the commentary community, because I've been a part of the commentary community for years. That's the community I've resided in. I never thought that Sam's camp of people would be involved in YouTube drama, because Sam is never someone I've seen as a YouTuber. I've seen him as just a content creator who did stuff on YouTube, but he wasn't really involved in that e-celeb kind of culture, you know what I mean? He was kind of just doing his own thing. He was on YouTube, but he was more low-key. He was on Gumroad. He had his TV show, but he wasn't interacting with these kind of people, right? Rain says, if you told me this year's back, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't either. Yeah, definitely not. I really thought the charities were the driving force behind Idubbbz Creator Clash, but seeing them turn down $600,000 to charities, $100K to have Froggy fight again, and $500K for a bonus round of Sam Hyde versus Dad, it's clear that the charity stuff is just tacked on for optics. I think this is wrong from Bo Black somewhat. I think it's not tacked on for optics. I think they do want to do something good for charity. Absolutely. I think this is a somewhat bad take from Bo Blacks. Obviously, it's fun to say that they don't care about charity. I think they do care. I think they let their egos get in the way a little bit. And I think that they didn't want to stand being insulted, right? Wavy Web Surf ended up tweeting about it. A lot of just like big YouTubers. Hey, at Creator Clash, at Idubbbz, at Anissa, is an attendee of last year's event and ticket holder for this year's, and a genuine fan of the event you guys put on. I humbly ask for the rationale behind Froggy Fresh getting banned. Keep in mind, this is when we only had the statement that he was being removed from Creator Clash, and we didn't have any explanation as to why. Meanwhile, Harley from Epic Mealtime was getting a bunch of shit for his takes. Here he says, okay, at Jadion, let's get this sorted out for the kids now. And he basically used this to promo his own fight. And Harley's been getting a lot of shit recently, which is interesting because Harley, pretty recently was kind of like somewhat irrelevant, you would say, right? He wasn't someone a lot of people were talking about. And back in the day, he was one of the biggest YouTubers in the world. I mean, Epic Mealtime was a huge YouTube channel. And then he kind of faded away from the public eye for a little bit. And I'm not trying to shit on him for that or be like he fell off, because a lot of people have that kind of arc. And I don't think that's, something that you should on someone for. Like sometimes your content just kind of peaks in the cultural zeitgeist at a certain time, and sometimes it falls off a little bit, But I mean, 33 million views, 19 million views, 14 million, 7 million. I mean, he was huge on YouTube, and now I mean his videos just don't do quite as well as they used to, right? And like I said, I'm not trying to shit on him for that. I think it's it's just kind of the natural evolution of a lot of YouTubers' life cycle when you kind of hit that stride, right? But Harley, because of the Creator Clash thing, because of him getting to fight with Sam Hyde, he was kind of put back on the map a little bit. A lot of PKA podcast clips were blowing up with him. He was getting a lot more attention on YouTube, and during his fight, he had he showed a lot of heart, he showed a lot of personality, and I think a lot of people thought it was cool that he came out dressed like Solid Snake. He had the Nirvana music in the background. It was great to see, and he ended up destroying Aaron from Game Grumps. And in fairness, it's not like this was a fair fight, right? Because he's so much bigger than Aaron. Aaron is like 6'1" or 2. Harley is like 6'6". He's fucking huge. So it was never going to be a fair fight. And I think if you want to give a legitimate criticism of Creator Clash, you could say that they don't pair their fighters very well, Someone that's Harley's size should not be fighting Aaron Hansen, even if he agrees to it. You shouldn't be sanctioning that in a boxing match. There's no way Aaron even stood a chance, So Harley posted this Twitter video talking about his thoughts on the situation. He was also in all the Creator Clash Twitter spaces. He was defending Idubbbz. He was defending Anissa. He was saying that they had a reason to kick him off. He was saying that if someone insulted his wife, if someone insulted his mom, he would do that. He was saying sometimes his mom tweets wild and he has to call her and be like, don't do that, don't do this. So he was, he was definitely taking their side. And for that, he got a lot of shit.
Didn't you say you had 100K for charity? I mean, you said you had 100K for charity if they brought Froggy Fresh back, but they didn't. So does that mean you no longer have 100K for charity? What was your 100K for? Froggy Fresh's appearance? What are you going to do with that 100K now? I want to know. I mean, that 100K didn't just exist to blackmail Creator Clash to bringing Froggy back, right? You were going to donate it somewhere, so where are you going to donate it? I'm sure that wasn't the 100K for Froggy Fresh. That'd be weird. What about the children? Gideon!
And this person, Celeb Box Matchup, says, how on earth do you have the right to tell another man where to put his money and why? That's like a charity auction saying, didn't get the item, but the rest of you should be able to donate your bids anyway. Harley says he said it himself. He said he'd donate 100K if Froggy was back on the card. Froggy isn't back. Does that mean he isn't donating any money? Logically, that means he values Froggy over the charity. That's weird, but maybe that's not how he feels. Some of his points are better than others, but overall, Harley's been getting a lot of for his takes on all of this. Like a lot. Harley said, thank you to those who have been hating me. I don't mean those who disagree with me, but those that truly hate me. Thank you for making me feel alive. That's a cool video. The aesthetic is like really cool, actually. This is a good video. Here we have Pat God saying Villain Arc about to go crazy. Pat God was also involved in all those Twitter spaces. I think he's a newer fan of Sam Hyde. Maybe he's not even a fan of him, but he likes Froggy Fresh at the very least, and he was commenting on all this shit. saying it's pretty wild, pretty dumb. Then we finally get the response from Creator Clash, the official statement after, 24 hours of like basically just completely shitting on them, saying that we need some kind of explanation, everyone begging them to say something. Froggy Fresh talking about how they haven't communicated very well. His entire Twitter timeline has been talking about this, right? If you go on his Twitter, you see he managed to get, I think, signed to Misfits somehow for DAZN, or I think Keem approved that they would. I don't think Chris Reagan's going to agree to fight on this. Here's him tweeting at Keemstar.
Another thing I have to address, yes, the opportunity for me to fight at Happy Punch and Misfits for Mams, Taylor, and KSI was put on the table. I'm very thankful for the opportunity. Both of them have been very warm and welcoming. I mean, what else can you do to somebody who is, if they take a stage away, like, the best thing you do is give them another stage, right? At this point in my life, I don't, when I did boxing, I agreed to fight Chris Reagan.
He's been tweeting a lot about them over all this. He basically said that it came out of nowhere when it was announced that he would be kicked off, the card. They called him apparently at one point and were asking why he was hanging out with Sam Hyde and stuff like that, what his relationship was with him. They told him to make no content with him. He didn't make any content with Sam, and he was still kicked anyway. There seems to be some confusion as to the exact timeline, and I think part of that is because he just doesn't have records of everything that went on. But regardless of that, everyone's taking his side because I think it's bullshit, right? You train for 9 months for a boxing match. You trained, and boxing training is super time consuming. You feel exhausted after it, and it's hard to do almost anything else. And he's not making money off it either, right? He's just not. It's all for charity. He was given some money from them to train. It's not that much. It's like $15,000 to like get some training stuff. And apparently they're now requesting that money back, and they're supposedly threatening some kind of legal action. I know Mudahar said that he would cover the legal fees if that happens. But that legal action comes down to breach of contract. Now, in this statement, Creator Clash claims that he basically broke a contract that he signed saying that he wouldn't disparage people. Twitter account says, as you may be aware, we recently announced Froggy Fresh will be leaving the Creator Clash 2 ticket. We want to provide some additional information about the rationale to help clarify some of the chatter. We have a legally binding code of conduct that each of our Creator Clash 2 fighters are held to, the violation of which is grounds for termination. Unfortunately, there were several violations made by Froggy Fresh during his tenure with Creator Clash this year. The Creator Clash 2 team, inclusive of the production company, takes violations seriously and made several unsuccessful attempts to address them directly with Froggy Fresh in the hopes we could work together to get things back on track. When it became clear that the exhibited behavior wasn't stopping at risk to the other fighters, fans, and other people involved in the event, the Creator Clash 2 team made the collective decision to move forward with Froggy Fresh on the ticket. Without Froggy Fresh on the ticket. Now, they say their number one priority is ensuring Creator Clash 2 is a positive, safe, welcoming space for everyone. I guess the thing that probably pisses them off about this, the thing that probably pisses them off the most, is the fact that he made the OnlyFans joke. Is the fact that he was like, hey, if I lose, I'll subscribe to Anissa's OnlyFans. Or it's the fact that, he said, he made the Chris Reagan joke. He was like, hey, Idubbbz hired me to beat up your daughter's boyfriend, referencing Chris Reagan, because a lot of people think that Chris Reagan and Anissa had some kind of relationship at some point, right? Now, as far as the contract, Harley Morenstein, this is Harley, Epic Mealtime, says, I can't sign a contract and then post it, but I did look up a boilerplate contract for a boxing event. There's an extremely similar clause. Let me know if you guys need help understanding how there was a breach. I don't represent Creator Clash. I just want Keem to shut the fuck up. Fighter agrees, represents, and warrants that he and his accompanying personnel shall conduct themselves in conformity with public conventions, morals, and standards of decency, and do not commit any act or do anything that could degrade themselves, the broadcasters, the site, event sponsors, the event, or subject them to public hatred, contempt, scorn, ridicule, or disrepute, shock, or offend their patrons or employees, prejudice their standing in the community, or subject them to liability. A breach of this shall entitle the event to terminate its obligations under this agreement. So this is not the real contract. This is an example contract. And Harley's saying that basically Froggy would have violated this, right? Now, the thing about this, I'm going to be honest, is I think that Froggy, if the contract itself was similar to this, I think technically he probably would have violated it, even with those jokes, right? Hang out with Sam Hyde, not a breach of contract. And it's not like they had in the contract, don't hang out with Sam Hyde. But these jokes would be a breach. Now, the contention comes on whether or not you think that he was kicked because of the jokes or he hung out with Sam Hyde. I think it's possible he got kicked because he hung out with Sam Hyde because, according to him, he kind of knew that he was going to get kicked before he made those tweets at Anissa's mom. And so that's why he made the tweets, because he got notified of it and he was like, I'm going to make these tweets. But that wasn't the story before. Initially, he was like, initially the story was he didn't know if he'd been kicked. And then he kind of changed it when he thought that he could talk about it and he was less scared legally, right? He just wanted to speak out about it. And I'm not criticizing Froggy Fresh because obviously he's going through, kind of a stressful situation. But if this is a contract or it's similar, technically he did breach it. Now, that being said, I think adhering to a contract like this is cringy and stupid. I don't think you should care. And I think part of what makes influencer boxing in general entertaining is the entertainment aspect. Because these people are not good fighters. Maybe some of them are good, maybe some of them aren't. You know, maybe some of them are better than others. But end of the day, it's not about the athleticism. It's not about the fight. It's about the entertainment brought behind it. You got to treat it like WWE, you know? And I know Anissa thinks that that's a bad idea, and she was like criticizing Keemstar for trying to make it like kind of a WWE type thing. But I think that's what influencer boxing should be if you want to run one of these events, you know? I mean, you have fighters in the past. You guys know who Chael Sonnen is? He was in UFC, I believe. He's a mixed martial artist, and he infamously, and all the other fighters do this now too. I mean, even boxing, Conor McGregor does it. People like him. People like Colby Covington. They're famous for shit talk, and that's at real, you know, MMA. And that's because they know that's what sells tickets. People like the entertainment, TMZ tabloid aspect of it, right? They love that kind of stuff. I mean, it's so easy to see if you look up. There's this one that I really like. Chael Sonnen owns journalist. It's something like that. Is this it? Oh, this is it. This is it.
What? Chael, you backed down? Is that the truth? What? You backed down. Didn't you say that if the offer has expired and you're no longer willing to throw out those terms?
You might want to take the bass out of your tone. I'm not sure you know who you're talking to here, but I've never backed down from anything, so check your facts. He's the one that backed down. How could you even say something so stupid? Why don't you try to go get a free interview with Anderson Silva and see how that works out for you? You're going to tell me that I backed down? What do you want to do?
Does the offer
If I tell you I'll sell you my car for 10 grand, you think I can just call you back a year from now and say, hey,
And where's this one video I saw the other day of him? That's really funny. Oh, it's this one. This one's so funny. And you can tell he's like joking. He's being kind of ironic, but he's putting on a performance, and that's what people like. And even in real mixed martial arts. And this is influencer boxing, so why wouldn't you want to play up the beefs? You know, the beef is part of the fun, the drama. And I think the obvious answer is that Anissa, you know, and Ian, regardless of if there's a breach of contract, that's not the real reason they're mad. They're mad because they got made fun of. But I think that's what entertainment is, you know, making fun of people, talking.
Well, am I wrong when I say that you've been unusually respectful to John Jones? I'm not used to hearing you this way.
Well, Levitar, I don't have all the details, but if you said it, you're most likely wrong.
What was your reaction when you read, if you did indeed read, the Deadspin article pointing out that you're something of a race baiter?
I don't know what that means.
Did you read the article?
No.
Things that you said about Brazilians, for example, Chael, where you're saying that while you were playing with computers, they were playing with mud. You understand how it is that some of that would be taken as race baiting. Do you not? No?
Dan, I've got a degree in sociology from the University of Oregon. Apparently you do not, because you're greatly mistaking race with ethnicity with nationality. If you said that I said it about Brazil, which is not a race, it's a nation, then you might want to run the tape back and not air this, because you're going to look foolish in the presence of a genius.
Augie ended up tweeting about the contract. He said, "I'm confused, Harley. I read this contract and I fail to see how Froggy Fresh violated it. I think it's kind of obvious. You know, public hatred, contempt, scorn, ridicule. Even if it is light, like it is some level of ridicule, right? You could say that's why he violated. That's how the contract was violated. If you really want to argue. Now, we don't know if this is the real contract. We have no idea. But if it's something similar to this, it's possible that he technically did, right? But I think it's dumb to kick him off either way. I think Froggy Fresh should be allowed to fight, especially considering they kicked him off 3 weeks before over Twitter. I don't really care what the contract says. I think it's, regardless of if he violated it, I think it's still unprofessional. I think it shows kind of a lack of respect for the fighters and what they put their time into. And I think it looks bad on the event as a whole. I really think it does. So that probably wraps up the Creator Clash stuff. I will say one more thing I want to kind of take a look at is, maybe I didn't put this here. Oh, I guess I did.
You got Idubbbz.
Philip DeFranco talked about this, which is crazy because he's like mainstream normie YouTube news, like even more so than like Scarce or Keemstar, right? He's like the most normie you could imagine. Boomers watch Philip DeFranco. If you go to the comment section, it's obvious. There's a bunch of like boomers and like 35-year-olds in here. No shade to 35-year-olds, but like the majority of people who care about this drama, I'd say the median age is like 18, right? 18 to like 22.
And Anissa embroiled in controversy, unexpected news with Kanye and Jonathan Majors, alleged crypto
DeFranco videos have
kidnapping,
changed a
people
lot.
of Israel making their voices heard. We're going to talk about all that and so much more on today's brand new Philip DeFranco show, so buckle up, make sure you're subscribed, and let's just jump into it.
I miss the old set too. Remember the old set he had had that looked like a fake like college dorm set. I missed that one. He looks better though. He looks like he gained weight for a while. Looks like he lost it though. So good to him for that.
Starting with the massive controversy and backlash in the online entertainer boxing space, which if you're not familiar with that niche, that space, any of the people involved, it doesn't actually matter. You can treat this as a general social person A, person B story, and I'm going to want to know your thoughts. Right, so you had the highly anticipated Creator Clash 2 just around the corner, a few weeks away. But all of a sudden, it was announced that someone was dropped from the card. The Creator Clash announcing on Saturday. There's been a change in the lineup, and Froggy Fresh will no longer be fighting against Chris Raygun. We will announce his replacement in the coming days. With just 3 weeks left, the countdown to Creator Clash 2 has begun. And adding, Creator Clash's goal is to make it an inclusive and fun event for creators and fans while giving back to charity. That has always been our mission, and Froggy Fresh's recent behavior does not align with that mission. We look forward to sharing this positive experience on April 15th. So what happened, and why did that announcement get ratioed to hell? And while looking into this, it appears that it could be several things, but it appears to be this main one. And that's on or around March 24th, Froggy Fresh puts out a video where he's kind of just talking shit to Chris Raygun. Seems like a kind of standard, let's talk to each other, get people hyped up to see us fight sort of thing. But then randomly at the end of that video, someone else catches a stray.
April 15th, if I don't hurt you beyond what anybody could have imagined, I will be so disappointed in myself that I will subscribe to Anissa's OnlyFans.
Right, so Anissa and Idubbbz, they're married. They're the ones putting on Creator Clash, and Anissa has also received a lot of shaming due to her having an OnlyFans. So then we see an account that appears to be
Shaming is such a funny word. When I hear that, a little red flag goes off when I hear shaming, to be honest with you. It's like, it's gonna be one of those guys, one of those individuals, one of those videos, you know.
Anissa's mom stepping in, and they get into a fight. At one point saying he wouldn't have the fight if not for her, as well as another tweet where she says she hopes the imp is replaced. With Froggy Fresh quote tweeting those tweets saying, Maureen, Idubbbz hit me up to beat up your daughter's boyfriend, as well as better an imp than a pimp. Shout out your boy Idubbbz. Anissa, come get your mom. You also have Froggy uploading videos at this time, but the next thing we see is that he gets dropped. And the massive and big reaction on Twitter is that people were not happy that he was
so funny to see Nick Diorio tweet in a
tweeting those tweets saying, Maureen, Idubbbz hit me up to beat up your daughter's boyfriend, as well as better an imp than a pimp. Shout out your boy Idubbbz. Anissa, come get your mom. You also have Froggy uploading videos at this time, but the next thing we see is that he gets dropped. And the massive and
Anissa Jama not being able to hold back a meltdown after the slightest bit of teasing is insane. She's letting this Froggy Fresh meme ruin her entire charity boxing. True Nicholas Diorio. Listen, if you guys want one of the most bad Twitter accounts in the game, follow Nicholas Diorio. You know, looking back, when I think about Harley's involvement, I feel like the reason why he is so passionate about it is probably because he feels like he's been given a big opportunity by Anissa and Idubbbz. And on top of that, I think that, you know, they kind of, without them, that he never would have met Sam Hyde. He never would have had this like resurgence and chatter around his name. So maybe he feels he owes them a little bit, and that's part of his defense. And in that way, I don't blame him totally. But I haven't heard everything he said. I didn't hear what he said in the second Twitter space yet, so we're gonna check that out later when we watch the space.
And big reaction on Twitter is that people were not happy that he was removed from the card. One of the most liked reactions coming from Moist Critical, who tweeted, I'm really disappointed by this. Kicking him for Twitter controversy after months of training is brutal. I don't think any jokes he made were intended to be mean-spirited or on anyone. Hopefully they reconsider this decision. But as of right now, that hasn't happened. That's where things are there. But we did see Mams Taylor, the co-founder of Misfits Boxing, which actually signed a 5-year deal with DAZN, seeing an opportunity and tweeting, hey, Froggy Fresh, we welcome you here at Misfits Boxing. DMs, don't worry, my mother-in-law won't be bothering you. You know, with all this, depending on where you go on the internet, massively different reactions. Or you go one place, you see people having the opinion of Moist Critical saying, these are just jokes. The hope is that you get attention for the event in any way, so don't take things serious. Then you go somewhere else and you go, no, it makes sense for him to be removed. This is just shaming and misogyny. You're taking jabs at the creators of the event with something that they've been harassed with for a while now. So why would they want to platform you? Which is why, of course, while I'd love to know your thoughts on anything that I talk about in these very big shows, I'd really love to know your thoughts on this specific story. What camp are you landing in? What's your thinking here and why?
All right. Well, Philly D talked about it, and then also, I don't know if you guys know who Atozy is. He's a pretty good commentary YouTuber, but he did a video about this. We're going to check out what he had to say. He's more of like a normie creator as far as I'm concerned, so I want to see what his kind of thoughts are on it.
I wanted to talk about not only the odd decision for Idubbbz and Anissa to remove a fighter from the card, but also the weird decision to threaten to sue him as well. I feel like here on this channel, we're very familiar with how stupid it is for another content creator to sue another content creator because of their opinion or a joke. BitBoy and Logan Paul are the two recent large examples of that, but hey, it looks like both Idubbbz and Anissa wants to join that little group of people who think that suing someone will make everything go away. Idubbbz is a commentary OG. He's definitely had an impact on this genre, but but he's since moved on to photography and hosting boxing events. The latter is awesome. I always root for creators to make real life events no matter who they are because I think the community really needs that. I feel like the simple rule is just as long as they're not scamming their audience. I mean, hey, I even went to the first Austin Gabroom versus Bryce Hall fight and I had a good time even though that event had its own issues. But those were more financial issues rather than entertainment issues. Idubbbz' event is called Creator Clash and the first one, from what I heard, was a massive success and now the second one is right around the corner. They decided to just completely tarnish the reputation of the event by kicking a fighter because of a joke. And the fighter who was kicked, Froggy Fresh. Froggy Fresh is a YouTube OG and also rap comedian. And he got kicked for essentially doing his job, comedian. Well, it's that and there's a...
I'm glad Atozy kind of has the good take here, getting more of an audience out there to agree with it. I appreciate that the Idubbbz hatred is not just like an incel thing now. Like people really see how stupid he's been acting recently, you know. I wonder if Ethan Klein is going to talk about this eventually. He'll probably have the worst take imaginable, and I'll have to do a video about it. But yeah, I imagine he'll probably have something to say. But yeah, that about wraps up stuff for Creator Clash. We're gonna go over some other smaller stories right now. For example, Kick decided to like this tweet on their official account. This person, Mittens Kittens, saying, the face of @Kick Streaming went on a transphobic rant saying, my pronouns are /them, all y'all, bro. You're making the world a shitty place, bro. Nice poster boy you got there. And the official Kick Twitter account liked this tweet. So Keemstar tweeted, Kick don't give an F with the laughing emoji. Based, WKick. But no, these people said accept all pronouns, SMH. Don't know what the this is. I don't want to see. Apart from that, this is also on the Drama Alert Twitter account. I thought it was pretty funny.
I can play Fortnite for so long without going to the bathroom. I call this the Fortnite Battle Bucket. It has 2 holes. One for going number 1 and another for going number 2.
Bro, I need one of these for streaming. Because people always complain when I get up to piss on stream. And I'm like, I have to piss. People always like take a huge issue with it. So I should just get one of these so you guys can just... Every once in a while, you'll just hear me like... You'll hear a plop on stream when I... You'll hear a little bit of a water sound effect. When I pee on my live stream. Now, apparently, Lele Pons was caught lying. I don't know how true this is, but this is from E-Wrestling News. It says, shocker, YouTuber Lele Pons lied about $20 million WWE offer. Do you guys remember Lele Pons? I forgot about her and like who she was, but if you look up Lele Pons, she does exist. But she was like a huge, like, I don't even know what you would call her. She made Vines, I think, was her big thing, and then she started making YouTube videos that were like acted out like skits. But she was like so famous back in the day. She was like the Darmon of her time. But she also put out like music and stuff. She was like the commentary punching bag of like 2018, 17, right? She was like a huge one.
No! Why? You don't get it. You weren't in that school.
Baby, you have to go. This is your 10-year reunion.
Ray, shut up.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not going. You're not gonna make me go. I can't believe it. I don't even like anybody here. Janina! Oh my god, I love this girl. She was my best friend in high school.
Aw, thank you. I'm Ray. Nice to meet you.
My husband. Thank you.
So wait, you're just not gonna introduce me to your friends?
Why do you always do this?
No, that's not what you said last.
You're pregnant. Congrats.
What? I'm pregnant?
Oh.
Is that Lacey?
Well, didn't we have a great time back in high school?
No.
Yes, go Gators! What?
I think they're so cool. I wish I was popular like them.
To be honest, I don't like them.
I don't know what this, like, what kind of, like...
Hey, guys. I think we heard
this.
you wrong. Yeah, somebody here doesn't like
Is this
us.
filmmaking?
Oh, no. I love you guys.
Like, well, I don't know what kind of sense of humor this is. I think it's amazing, actually. I love Lele Pons, but anyway. YouTuber Lele Pons and her husband, rapper... I'm not even going to try to say that. Lied about WWE offering $20 million for Pons to make an appearance for the company. As you'd expect, the $20 million figure that the YouTuber and singer mentioned on a recent episode of Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast was so far-fetched that nobody believed it. Fightful Select is reporting that multiple WWE officials who would know have denied Pons' $20 million claim. Additionally, the likes of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns don't make anywhere close to that number. One WWE source jokingly said of the offer, "That's generous of us." It should be noted that there's no word on if any feelers were even sent to Pons. So I guess this person's saying that it was all cap. I don't know what the this is. Some Patreon page. Detectives realize YouTuber claiming to be victim is actually husband's killer after she slips up in police interview. This is an interesting article. Turn off ad. I'm not turning off ad block. You guys know who Hasbulla is? I fucking hate this guy. hate this guy. I don't know if you know who he is. He's like this little short dude from like Iraq or something. Sudan. Is he from Dagestan? I recently watched this Nelk video that he's in. I know he's like a celebrity or whatever. I like Nelk. I don't like this fucking kid, but you know, he's funny. He's like, cause he's like short and a midget, but he's actually like 18 years old, even though he looks like a 3-year-old. I just don't like him. I don't like him. And now that opinion is validated because he was like beating on his cat a little bit. Now, in fairness, I think that the claims about the cat are a little exaggerated because he didn't really like hurt the cat that bad. Like he's just a little freak. It just showed me that he's like a little psycho, I think. Here's the video question. What is this boy doing to his cat? The cat clearly does not want to be around him. He's like harassing it and like hitting it. He's hitting it. Like what the f? And it's not like straight up punching the cat, but also like maybe that is to him because he's like has the body of a 3-year-old. Is that his actual voice? Yeah, it is. I'm gonna be honest. I don't stand the beating on the kitty cat. I'm a big kitty cat enjoyer, and I don't think it's cool, bro. Yeah, why post it? That's real. And the cat clearly doesn't like it. The cat's like f off. He does not look happy. And he responded later on. Here's what he said about it. Of course, he doesn't acknowledge the fact that he fucking hit the cat, right? He hit it like that.
Мой самый любимый животное — это кошка. И когда не слушается, я чуть поругал его, чуть ухо потянул, а вы напали на меня толпой.
And this is the thing, like, he even admits, like, it wasn't just around. He did it because the cat disobeyed, which, like, okay, but it's a cat. You don't hit the cat when you're mad at it. It's a animal, dude. There's a difference between scolding and, like, roughly pulling on its ear and then, like, punching it. Cut the guy some slack. He's only 7. He's, like, 21, dude, and he looks like this. Tom Dark versus Hezbollah. Well, guys, I'm not endorsing violence. Obviously, this is in Minecraft, you know. I think that in a Minecraft world, if I saw Hezbollah, there's only one thing that could happen. Am I out of line here? Like, am I out of line for thinking that he's kind of f***ed up for like up the cat? I don't think that's cool. I think he's a little psycho. At least he has the defense of being only 20. Yeah, only 20, dude. I think by 20 you should know not to hurt animals. I assume you're joking, but it just pisses me off. We feel bad for the kitty cats, guys. We're kitty cat enjoyers on this stream. All right, and for a little bit more news, Chris Chan was released, ladies and gentlemen. You see here we have the record. Christine Weston Chandler, 41, male, white, bonded out. We don't know where Chris Chan is. A lot of people suspect that they're currently in a halfway house or something. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what a lot of people seem to think is going on. But yeah, Chris Chan's out. And in addition to that, we also got the news that Andrew Tate is being released. Andrew Tate has been released from Romanian jail. The brothers will be placed under house arrest. Here you can see pictures of them. Here's the Dexerto article. I guess he's going to be on house arrest for a little while. Tate and his brother will now remain on house arrest alongside 2 women who were also arrested in connection to the investigation until April 29th. They will need to stay in the buildings where they live unless they get permission from the courts to be able to leave. During his time in custody, Andrew Tate claimed he was subjected to abuse, including being forced to fight off bugs to eat food due to his fasting for the Muslim holiday of Ramadan. On one hand, you know, if he is guilty of the crimes he's been accused of, maybe he shouldn't be out. But on the other hand, I think he's going to make the internet a lot more entertaining for the next few months. And that's all I can really ask, you know, as a commentary drama YouTuber or whatever. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Andrew Tate. It should be interesting. Should be exciting. Funny. I think that he and Sneeko, their ties are officially severed. I saw some video of Andrew basically talking about how Sneeko won't shut his mouth about his private business, and Sneeko kind of got upset about it. So I don't know if they're going to be in contact. I don't know if the terms of his house arrest mean that he can make videos or anything. Does it say anywhere in this article? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I assume he's going to be making content again soon, you know, once he shaves his head again because his hair grew out a little bit and gets back to his based aesthetic. I think they confiscated all his cars, though, so that sucks. The Bugatti.